Greetings, soul family. Just wanted to take the time to explore a very specific archetype today because I feel like this is where we're going and what we're going to see so much more of in 2026. Then you're going to see a little bit of a slowing down of social media in a sense of there being so many quote unquote influencers. I think people are awakening to something a little bit different and craving something different actually. Artists who sing from their souls and who really do give us that old school R&B sound back. Okay? Um, that's why you may see a lot of old groups coming back, old boy bands or old, just older, I should say, performers basically coming back and just kind of reinventing themselves or just kind of just giving us back that sound that we've missed so much. Um, Artists using more healing frequencies, like just more heart space, I should say, frequencies, like 432 hertz or, and I hope I'm saying that right, 528 hertz, something like that. You guys get the picture though. But things that are actually healing the soul, healing. Um, I don't know. I just feel like spirit is giving me fracture. There's so much fractured energy right now, and a lot of aggressive energy. But just music and movies that are going to start um, speaking to our souls on a soul level. Okay, and helping us to heal. And if you want to just take out a few that are existing right now that I actually love. You can look at Unreasonable Doubt. I think that's on Hulu. Just such a great show that really kind of shows and dives into the healing of relationships that are broken, but just the work through and the mending piece of coming back together when two people really want to hang on and um, get rid of the toxicity and acknowledge it and take accountability and really heal through those things. Um, Gosh, there was another show that was really great at that. Hopefully, it'll come to me before this is over with. But you're just going to see more, again, just music, movies, especially if from melanated people, you know what I'm saying? People of color that is going to really start turning the tides on how we've been perceived for so long. I really hate when I see couples like Papoose and Remy just such a force, right? We've grown up just the representation of Black love, and then there's this separation, and it's not the separation that I hate to see because, times change. Sometimes we outgrow people, sometimes, people are with us for a season, a reason, or a lifetime, and that season is up. That's natural. What I don't like to see is when we break apart from people or separate from people and there has to be like this energy, this combative energy, this toxic energy of the tear down, especially when there's children involved. And, you know, um, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the couple, it doesn't matter the situation. I just hate when I see, that we are not doing the work through. And I think Gwyneth Paltrow and her ex-husband did a wonderful job. I don't know their personal life, but I know when they use the language conscious uncoupling, it really resonated with me. Having separated from my children's father, it was the same energy. I knew that I didn't want to repeat the sins of my mother and father. I knew that I wanted a non-combative, non-toxic co-parenting situation, and there was just no way that was going to happen if we were always at each other's throat. In fact, you know, there's no reason to be there. Recognizing that you're no longer a fit or no longer a unit together does not mean that you have to be enemies. So I'm saying that because I feel like more and more people are going to start awakening to those themes. There will be one, maybe several artists that will rise this year who are going to really help to guide us, heal our souls, again, with their music, with their voices. I would pay attention to Kevin Ross right now. I pay attention to, man, quite a few people who may not necessarily be on the radar so tough, but I'm just recognizing a lot of music starting to be very croonish. I'm making up words now, but talking about love and, restoration and paying homage or honor to God, Goddess, right? And when I say that, I just mean to togetherness, to love, to a woman or a man. I just think that we're going to see much more of that, and we're going to see more people turning away from the limelight. Choosing peace, choosing their sanity, choosing wholeness rather than having to act on a stage. And that, I don't mean that in a literal sense of just actors. I mean any performer, even if it's social media influencing or whatever, just recognizing that there is a lot that is taken, a lot that is fragmented, a lot of energy taken from a person. At any level of celebrity, you just have to be mindful and try and find the balance. And hopefully people partaking in more, self-care regimes and restorative practices, so to speak, and that is what I do, help to construct a way for people, a path, retreats for people who need to just step away and go quiet and restore themselves, even reinvent themselves in a sense, recognizing that that old skin no longer fits, and so I have to do something a little bit different. One such star, one such light in this way, people can turn. I'm recording, my love. I am recording. I'm recording. I'll be there in a minute. I'll come see you in a moment. I'm recording. So, wow, I have to say this because, he's got it. He's got it right, to be honest. And that's Andre 3000, such a beautiful soul. Never met him personally, but I just know this. I'm just watching, and it's not that I'm judging or watching someone and pretending to know them because of any type of celebrity news or whatever, but just as I have seen the transformation over the years from fame and stardom to just being at peace with peace. You know what I'm saying? And what I would deem his archetype would be somewhat the returning mystic, the integrated artist. He's someone who embodies this particular archetype, because it's almost like he took fame and he metabolized it. I experienced it. You know what I mean? He took it in, and this is someone who's just remembering and to choose wholeness at this time over performance. Okay, so and this is someone who, I have to check my notes on here, but just, he's someone who's he's seen the heights of acclaim. He has tasted the projection and praise and expectation and consumption. Again, remember I talked about, celebrity really taking a lot of energy from the light, from these stars, from these, because these are still human beings, right? Takes a lot of energy from you that it cannot reciprocate, and this is someone who just realizes that there's this constant output that fractures the soul. Remember, if there was a tarot card for it, that's what I would say, the fractured soul. But that's what kept coming up for me, this fractured energy, as I talked about earlier. So, and then this is someone who chooses presence over productivity. Okay, so it's not that, Andre 3000 disappeared on us. He didn't. It's like he withdrew with intention, and you can't be mad at that. This is I feel like it's crucial that we understand this. You know what I'm saying? This is not someone who's running scared, who's running because they feel like they ran out of things to say. This is that energy of I've shed that old skin. I've been there, done that, did it, went to the top with it, around the stars 2,000 times. I got this. I mastered this, probably many lifetimes. And so now I'm shedding that old skin that no longer really represents who I am. This is mastery. That's what this is. So his withdrawal is just not avoidance. It's actually a completion. He came here. He did what he was supposed to do. Um, So we think, people think he's no longer on stage for their various reasons. Who cares? The truth is, this is someone who, you know, the stage is almost like I don't want to say it becomes a prison, but it becomes a site of projection rather than communion, right? It becomes a repetition of an identity that he's already lived. You know what I'm saying? It becomes an echo of the self that no longer fits. Remember, I just keep saying this snake just guiding, you're growing out of that skin. So, when someone reaches this particular phase, performing the old role just feels unnatural. Okay? It feels like stagnation spiritually. Okay? It's not relevant. you know? So the refusal to rap publicly or to do another album or whatever is not rejection of music. It's just a refusal to re-inhabit an old version of oneself, right? That's already served its purpose. So that's not fear, it's integrity. It's presence. Okay? And then the flute, think about that symbolically, right? The flute is breath, right? It's nonverbal, it's ancient, it's meditative, it's uncompetitive, it's non-dominant. Rap, hip hop requires you to be assertive, sometimes aggressive. The language, the identity, the sharpness, it's a whole persona. You know what I mean? It's a whole vibe, right? Of its own. Okay, but the flute is more about listening, it's about softness, it's about presence, it's about surrender. Okay, again, I have to say this is ascension, this is mastery. Okay, so this is someone we're looking at who's moved from expression to attunement, right? Someone who's coming back and just remembering himself, and by that I just mean not the exterior, not the egoic self, not the stage presence, the true self. Someone who's let go of the need to be understood, someone who's let go of, it's almost like he's mastered how to let art be the body, not the market, not this thing that's being sold, and you know what I'm saying? Valuing peace over legacy, living without explanation, like not having to explain yourself to people. This is mastery. And this is what I feel like we're going to start seeing a bit more of, people with fragmented, I hate saying fragmented souls, but just this fragmented energy, because they're really trying to, I see like a Rubik's Cube, place the colors where they belong, because this skin over here, this projection we had over here, this stage, this presence, it wasn't even presence, it was just this act, right? Projection no longer serves. So now who am I at the core? You know what I mean? So the general collective is just asking questions now. What really matters now? Who am I now? If I take away the ego, all of the accolades, all of the I'm recording my love. Man, just so many things are running through my head, but just, this is the energy of 2026, again, I think for especially for melanated folks and people of color. And I have predicted so many things to family and friends over the years. You know, I predicted homeschool, there being a rise in homeschool, and people are like, whatever. And then COVID hit, and then what happens? Everybody was homeschooled for a while, but then there were many who, of course, went back, and parents like, oh my God, I got to get my kids back in school. You can't hardly deal with your own children. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Spend time. Actually raise your children, right? Um, but you see that there's been a lot of people who are actually loving the idea more of homeschool, recognizing that our system is broken, recognizing that our systems are not always safe, our school system, and recognizing that the academics are just not there in many cases. So, yes, a rise in homeschool. Predicted a couple of celebrities actually having children and what those children were going to be, and bada boom, bada bang, it happened. So I'm saying that to say I feel this very deeply, that people of color, we are sick of misrepresentation. We are sick of being represented in a certain way in the media. Um, there's going to be change. There's going to be healing. There's going to be restoration, like restorative energy here, where we're really starting to do the work to heal our relationships, okay? To heal our children, okay? To heal our music, you know what I mean? Our culture, just all of that. So you are going to see light shone more on these artists who are bringing back the real, really having something to say. We are exhausted, and I think I almost wanted to say ashamed, but it's really not ashamed. We're just tired. We're exhausted. We're just fed up with the same lyrics, the same words, the same energy, the same everything. That's why, man, I swear I wish I could have recorded myself predicting that all of these BBLs and all these falsities. I keep walking around saying I'm allergic to fake things, like fake jewelry, things that break me out, just fake things. And even if I wear it as costume jewelry or something, it's for a very short period of time because I know I got to come back home and like really wash up and put on my creams and whatnot just to keep myself from breaking out. So we're allergic, melanated people. We were never born, never created to come into contract with falsities and inauthenticity. We've always been people who are of the heart, of the sun, and of just of authenticity. We've learned behavior over the years from various other cultural influences and so forth and so on. I won't get too deep on my soapbox on that, but there's like a great remembering of coming back home. Thank you, Andre, for leading this. You are one of the light workers who came here and has been shifting. Just your presence, and your platform, it has shifted a whole collective. You're not the only one, but I thank you for that. As many of you um, are doing, because you're the ones we're waiting on. We are the ones we're waiting for. We are the change. Out with the old, in with the new. The first shall become last, the last shall become first. So where there are stars that are doing very well-ish right now, move over bacon, because now there are people who are more authentic of heart, more honorable and integral in music and movie making and storytelling that is coming forward, and with a force that cannot be denied. Doesn't matter what the forces that be try to do and how they try to, keep this out of the mainstream. It's coming. It's coming. There is healing underway. Okay. I don't know why I just felt like I had to get this out, but I am. This is your reading. This is your reading. This is church as far as I'm concerned. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed channeling for you. And until next time, remember that love brings change. Love is the highest vibration of all. Love heals all wounds. And in all you're getting, get inner standing. Please understand what I mean by that. Not under, not over, inner standing. Go inward. There is nothing that you need outside of yourself to accomplish your dreams, your goals, your highest vibrational self. Nothing. You are the change we've been waiting for. We are the change we're waiting for. We are the Calvary we've been waiting on. Okay? I love you so much. I love you dearly. And until next time, abundance and wealth and health to you.